I have all these close friends who have these wonderful stories that can help change the world, life experiences that can help other people believe in themselves, hold tight to their dreams and make their dreams reality. On Feeling Friends, we talk about God, we talk about love, relationships. I have celebrity friends, I have non-celebrity friends. I have church members, family members. But when you watch and listen to Feeling Friends, you will learn and you will laugh. It's a community of friends helping to build each other up. So tune in to Feeling Friends every Sunday on WHCR 90.3 FM, or you can catch me on YouTube at Feeling Friends Radio. All right, I'll see you there. WHCR 90.3 FM, the voice of Harlem. What's up, everybody? It's me, Phil, and I'm happy to be back live on air with you, my friends. I've got a great guest today. I've got Erin Burns out of New Orleans. I was trying to do a little New Orleans accent. It ain't working. New Orleans. She's going to come on live today. You know, she was at Clark Atlanta University 40 under 40, and we sat across from each other. She's very popular, but for some reason, I didn't know her at school. I might have known her in passing, but she is live here on air today, and we're going to talk about New Orleans and how she is making a huge impact on the city of New Orleans, is doing an awesome job there. So without further ado, here is Erin Burns. What's going on, Ms. Burns?
Hello. Hey, Phil. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much for coming on air.
Oh, absolutely. I'm excited to be here.
Thank you. I'm excited for you. You know, we were sitting across from each other at Clark Atlanta's 40 under 40, and you obviously are an amazing person. And I've known you that because we have friends of friends. And I was just saying, you're super popular. I know her at school. You made obviously a huge impact on New Orleans from what I've seen. And you're doing a great job down there. So tell the audience who you are and what you're doing down there in New Orleans.
Yes. So Erin Burns, I am a New Orleans native, love my city, deep passion for it. Mm-hmm. And for the last 6.5 years, I've been working at the Louis Armstrong New Orleans International Airport, part of the leadership team there. I'm responsible for all the marketing, communications, governmental relations, entertainment, and a few other things in between at the airport. It's a really beautiful airport. If people haven't been there yet, we just opened a brand new terminal in 2019. And since then, we have been winning a lot of customer experience awards, which I play a major role in helping to support that passenger experience. So very proud of the work that we're doing in New Orleans. It's a big deal for us. Many people know in 2005, the city of New Orleans was devastated by Hurricane Katrina. Yes. And when we built this new terminal, it's really the gateway to the city. And we're such a popular tourist destination. And this project was the largest infrastructure project in the city of New Orleans since the Superdome was built in the 1970s. So being a part of something like that and delivering that legacy project that's going to impact generations of New Orleanians and visitors for, years and years to come has just been humbling for me, and I'm very proud of what we've been able to do. So happy to come on and talk to you a little bit about what's going on down here.
Listen, well, we've been talking on the side about my projects in New Orleans, and I'm so excited. New Orleans is one of my favorite cities, and I often think, how we have blood in us from DNA? Listen, I'm from my family from Louisiana, of course, and one of my great-grandmothers, her last name is Baptiste, and I'm like, we got to be from and so it is a great city, and you're doing a great job. Listen, you are deeply rooted in your family has been there for years. Let's talk about that experience with you growing up in New Orleans. New Orleans, as my grandfather would say.
Yeah. So I have a really big family on both sides. Both my mom and dad are both from New Orleans originally, and their parents are from New Orleans as well, either one or both of their parents. So we just have a big family and cousins and cousins. In New Orleans, we call everybody our cousin. You don't even have to be blood related all the time. But it was just such a great experience, just being, deeply rooted in the culture, of course, the food, getting around with your family all the time. It's always centered around a pot of red beans or a pot of gumbo. Mardi Gras has always been a big part of our lives. And that's one of my personal favorite holidays of all time. People love Christmas and Thanksgiving. It's Mardi Gras for me. So I encourage everybody when they get a chance to come to New Orleans for Mardi Gras.
And Mardi Gras is what? It's right before. To explain Mardi Gras, because I always miss Mardi Gras. I want to go.
Oh, you have to come. All right. So Mardi Gras it means Fat Tuesday in French. And what it is a celebration the day before the Lenten season begins. So we're a big Catholic city. So a lot of people here observe Lent, where you give up something, you sacrifice during this 40-day period leading to Easter. But in the early days of New Orleans history, the residents started celebrating Fat Tuesday as a night of revelry before they begin their Lenten sacrifices. And it's just grown since then. It's a 2-week party across the city with parades. And a lot of people look at it and think of it as something that they see on TV. You know, you see the pictures and videos of Bourbon Street and, you know, the ladies raising their shirts for beads and that sort of thing. But that is not the local experience at all.
Oh, it's not? What's the local experience?
It is a family-friendly environment. It's like a big block party where, you know, you have every generation of your family around. You get a spot on the parade route. Some people are cooking out and they put up tents and have tables. And, you know, it's just a great time, old and young. Everybody just comes out, enjoys themselves. And yeah, it's really special.
Every time you go to New Orleans, it always feels like home. It always feels like family anytime you go there. One of my favorite restaurants in New Orleans, I went to Essence Fest when I was 21. And we went to, and you may not remember, you may remember. It was called Petunia's. And it was it was really good. I'll never forget that food was so good. But listen, everybody knows how to cook in New Orleans. White, black, it don't matter who you are.
That's true.
You know how to cook in New Orleans. You don't run past restaurants that's not good in New Orleans, right?
Right.
They don't last a long time.
That's true.
Let's talk about the family upbringing, because you have a very strong family just by online. What did that mean to you growing up, and what's the importance of that, especially Black women who need that support, who are like you, who are breaking glass ceilings? What does that family structure, having a strong family structure, mean?
You know, it means a lot just to have that support from a very young age. It builds confidence in you, really, because you first have role models around you who are kind of trailblazing and leading the path on, you know, what to do, what not to do, building these connections in the community. So they're kind of showing you the way. And really, I come from a family with a lot of strong male and female role models, and both are important for, you know, for a woman to find their way in the world, because, you know, having my mother and seeing her interact the way she interacts with my father, she's a career woman, she's retired now, but, you know, seeing the things that she did with her career, that builds confidence. And then just having a positive interaction with my grandfather, my uncles, you know, male cousins, all of that, just, it gives you sort of a level of confidence and strength when you're in the world, whether it be, you know, social settings, professional settings, that you really are capable and you are not necessarily intimidated by being in the room with these people, because you know your value and your worth. So it means a lot. It means a lot to have that support.
That's very important. You said to know your value and your worth, and a lot of people don't know their value and their worth. So when you walk into those rooms, people can't really tell you who you're not, because you already know who you are, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I mean, my family, they did little things with us when we were younger. So I have on one side of my family, there was 12 of us cousins that we were all around the same age, and they would make us get up for, you know, the Christmas and Thanksgiving holidays and give speeches in front of the family. So, you know, they were grooming us.
You had to speak, right? You have to
exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So those little things really make a difference. And then just in terms of community involvement, having that support system with, you know, not just my parents, but my aunts and uncles, and, you know, opening the door for different opportunities and exposing me to opportunities that are not necessarily afforded to women, let alone Black women. I recently, about 2 years ago, joined the Sugar Bowl committee in New Orleans, which this is the committee responsible for, one of the main things is putting on the major Sugar Bowl football, the college football game every year. But
now, who's in the Sugar Bowl? Is it the Sugar Bowl? Is not the Bayou Classic, because it's always Grambling and
Right. So
Okay.
it's not like that. It's usually the top seed from two football conferences every year. So it changes year to year.
Yeah.
But it's it's a it's a really important organization for the city because we bring a lot of economic dollars into the city and then also support amateur sports year round. So it's given opportunities to student athletes all year round. And, you have to, in order to get involved, you have to have a certain amount of community service. You have to have demonstrated professional background that shows that you would be a good fit for the organization. And there are very few women part of that organization and even fewer Black women. But my uncle is a part of the organization and he kind of paved the way for me to be able to be involved. And he's been a mentor for me through that process. So that is definitely something that I truly appreciate, having the opportunity to represent, and I take that responsibility seriously, both with the Sugar Bowl and my professional career at the airport, and just in general of just making sure that when I am able to enter into rooms, I'm not closing the door behind me. I'm leaving it open and paving a way to give more opportunity to other people.
That's so important because a lot of times, it's about being presented with the opportunity to open the door. And a lot of people who don't look like us, they are always given the opportunity. And we have to fight and scrape and do whatever we need to do to get where we need. And we finally get there, we do a good job, and people don't like us just because we work hard and it's not. But I believe that we should open the door for people, and people like family members should open the door for people because you are capable. And I think that we should always have those doors open. What do you think, during New Orleans, Hurricane Katrina, you mentioned it was a tough time. The city just went absolutely down. It was a horrible time. I'll never forget. We were in Atlanta. You might have been a sophomore at the time?
I was a senior.
You were a senior. Okay, so I was a junior. And they would show it in the library. And I don't know if you went home or whatever. How was that experience for you, and how it really messed up your community, but you all came back together? How was that experience for you? If you can recount that.
It was tough to watch. So my parents were not living in New Orleans at the time, but the rest of my family was. My brother was there. Both sets of my grandfather and my other set of grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, and they were all displaced. So some of them came to Atlanta to live with, family that I had there while I was in college. And so it was very difficult. We all rallied together so much after that horrible experience. In a lot of ways, it reignited our passion for the city because, it's sort of that thing where you never realize how much something means to you until it is in danger of being taken away from you. And it was truly amazing just to see how so many people who already cared so much about New Orleans came together, even in droves to make sure that we did not lose this gem that, really means so much to the state of Louisiana, the United States, the world. We attract visitors from all over. So we really did a lot to rally around each other to build back the city, and not just build it back to the way it was, but build it back better than it was before. And a lot of progress has been made since then. There's still work that we're doing here in New Orleans. And I think that's part of the reason why I am so passionate about this city, why I love working at the airport, because I get to serve as an ambassador for the city almost. So.
And we appreciate that. I mean, and I'm so glad New Orleans has bounced back. Big Frida the Queen, as you say. And bounce back towards it because it's very important. It is a gem. It is a historical gem. It is a gem to the African American community and the world. And so we need to keep it. Gentrification is a big deal, especially here in Harlem. It was a big deal in New Orleans. And let me ask you a question. How are you guys combating gentrification and keeping the cultural purity, I would say, of your city? How are you all doing that, especially as you being as an ambassador of the city?
Yeah. It's interesting. There's a saying by a Black creator here in New Orleans. They put it up on a billboard, and it really is poignant. It's everything that you love about New Orleans is because of Black people.
Yes, I've seen that. I don't know if you
Yeah.
posted that or not on your Instagram. Yeah.
Maybe, because I love it so much, because people talk about New Orleans having the French influences and the Spanish European influences, but there are a lot of African influences on the city of New Orleans, by way of the slave trade, the African diaspora, even coming up through Haiti. We had a large Haitian population that came to New Orleans. So it's truly a blend of cultures. And, the jazz music started in the African-American community. The food, the cooks were African slaves or natives. So it's just a blend of so many different cultures. And that is truly what people love about our city. So we, it just like other cities around the nation, it's an uphill battle to try to make sure we're preserving our culture. But, we're standing 10 toes down, making sure we do whatever we can to keep that at the forefront as our city does continue to grow and develop, that we're thinking about the locals, the people in New Orleans. We are about 60% African American. So,
well, that's a large population.
Yeah.
Was it before COVID?
Before Katrina, it was always a majority African American city, and it still is. And it's important for leadership and people like me who are in positions to be so-called gatekeepers, to make sure that we are creating those opportunities and fostering them. So that's
I would say you are a legacy keeper, and we're getting older.
Yeah.
We think we're younger, but we're getting older. And older. You know what I mean? But we are the legacy keepers. We are our ancestors. We are the grandparents now. You're not that old, but we are taking on their histories to pass down to the next generation. So we have to keep that legacy
absolutely
going on. That's so important. Every time I think about you, I think about your mayor, but we'll talk about that later. I love her.
She embodies the spirit of New Orleans.
She does. She really does. Let's just discuss your time at New Orleans Airport. It is popping because of you. Let's talk about the trajectory there. I mean, you're there, you're making a difference. What are some of the best places we should go when we stop at the airport? I mean, you make it seem like I just need to get a hotel at the airport.
It's a destination in and of itself. We have a really great concessions program, lots of great restaurants and shops. So as soon as you land in New Orleans, you're there, because we've got all the food offerings, the gumbo, the jambalaya, red beans and rice, and it's very popular. So we've got a lot of good restaurants, even some Black-owned restaurants. We've got Leah's Kitchen. There's a restaurant called Munch Factory that is also created by a Black family. So it's important to us to make sure that people get that feeling when they get into the airport. So you can have a really good meal in the airport. And I know a lot of people say airport food is not always the best, but that is not the case in New Orleans.
It's affordable too. I know you guys have affordable food.
Yeah, it is. It is affordable compared to other airports.
Yeah, because you go to other airports, they are too like 25. I mean, LaGuardia, no offense. I live here in New York. Like, why are we paying this much for bacon, egg, and cheese? Like, come on, bro.
Yeah, $25 for a glass of wine.
I'm like, what in the world? Literally, that's what it is. Why are we paying $25 for a $5 bacon, egg, and cheese? That's
right.
Well, that's really good. Listen, you are opening up doors for women. Like I keep saying that. What are some of the things that you're doing for women in your community, and how are you opening up doors for them?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things, speaking of the airport specifically, I'm working with some other leaders in the airport industry and the CEO of our airport on an initiative that is aimed at exposing high school students, minority high school students, with, of course, an intense focus on minority women, exposing them to the career opportunities available in airports. A lot of people, when you think about jobs at airports, especially the youth, the first thing they're going to say is pilot and flight attendant. But a lot of people don't realize that there are so many job opportunities available for in airports, especially in airport management, not just with airlines. So, at my airport, we have accountants, lawyers, engineers, marketing, communications professionals, business developers, real estate developers, all those sorts of things. So you can pretty much come from any kind of background, have any level of interest in anything, and you can find a really solid career in an airport. So what we're doing is working on exposing minority youth around the country, and especially in New Orleans, to what those opportunities are, and getting them the training, getting them internship opportunities, job shadowing opportunities while they're in high school and college, and then bringing them into leadership and training roles in airports upon graduation, where they'll spend a 2-year intensive rotating around to different departments so that they can get an understanding of what it takes to run an airport. Yeah. And the ultimate goal is to increase the percentage of minority leadership in airports, which is right now, it's staggeringly low, the percentage of minority leaders. So it's something that's important to us, because airports are a real source of economic opportunity in communities in every city. You know, airports they can provide a huge amount of opportunity for minority vendors, for Black-owned businesses, right, to open up. You know, you can open up a restaurant or a shop in an airport, and people have been very successful with that. You know, getting involved in construction, Black-owned construction companies. There's just a wide variety of opportunity. And we think that when the decision makers, who are the airport leadership, who are the ones making the decisions about who has the opportunity to compete for those kinds of contracts and for that business, if the decision makers are more reflective of the actual population of our city, then that levels the playing field for everyone, so that we're not just fighting to get recognized. You know, we want competent businesses who are able to compete and able to perform the work, but we understand the importance of equity and making sure that people are exposed to the opportunities that are available and have the tools that they need to actually be successful.
I totally agree with you. And you said equity, which is very important. Equity is not equality, it's fairness. Right. And everybody needs an opportunity to have the opportunity to do something. I love that, because Atlanta and New Orleans are the two biggest airports that give equity to people. And, I had no idea how powerful airports were until I saw this documentary on Atlanta, Hartsfield Jackson. And Maynard Jackson and all his city councilors said, hey, we need to get Black vendors in here. And thus you have all those Black vendors, which is Atlanta, New Orleans. So we have to get people those opportunities. And me, myself, who I work for the executive branch of the United States government, my job, giving contracts, we have to be able to give people the opportunity to give people money and spread the wealth, because people are making millions and millions of dollars. That's not reflective of our community.
Yeah, absolutely. Black entrepreneurship is important. And, equally important is making sure that we have Black people in leadership roles that are, responsible for exposing them to these opportunities. So it's really a passion project for me, and I'm excited to be a part of it. It's, fairly new. We're getting it off the ground, but it's going to make a major impact on the industry. We've already got a lot of support.
I'm so happy for you. I really am. If a person wants to contact your New Orleans, Louis Armstrong Airport, how do they get in touch with trying to become a vendor? Is that a process to go through?
If they just reach out to the airport, go to our website, flymsy.com. You can go to our website and find our contact information. Reach out to us. We can talk you through the process and get you connected with the right people.
Absolutely. I love that. What advice would you give to a woman who is struggling, trying to make it through corporate America? She's tired. She's worn down. What advice would you give her?
I would say nobody knows what they're doing. That is, I think, when I was first early in my career journey, I feel like it's easy to be intimidated by professionals who have been at the job for a long time and think that it might be hard to get your foot in the door or, be appreciated. But at the end of the day, my experience has been that a lot of people are just figuring things out as they go along. So it's not like, You really need, this special certification, or you need this special piece of experience. Everybody's trying to figure it out. And if the way that you can add value is just showing up, being dependable, getting things done, solving problems in an organization, or, whatever business you're in, then that is invaluable. And keeping the right mentors around you can definitely help to accelerate your career.
That is the best advice I've heard all week, because at my job, I have been through like 4 supervisors in 3 weeks, and nobody knows what they're doing. Like, well, do you know how to do this? You get paid about $50,000 more than me. You need to know how to do it.
Right.
Nobody knows. Figure it out. We can make it work together. That
exactly.
Leads to this question: what do you, what's your faith? What do you believe in, and how does that faith work to make you who you are today?
Absolutely. So I grew up Catholic. New Orleans, like I said, New Orleans is a very Catholic city, and that religion is steeped in a lot of tradition, a lot of family gatherings. And, that's something that is still very much a part of my life. But, along with that, I think having a close relationship with God, the universe, spirituality, whatever people want to call it, having that time for self-reflection and community at the same time is very important. So I like to, hold gatherings with my friends and family, and we sit around and we talk about our hopes and our prayers in a very, organized way, so that we are still having that moment of self-reflection and of, developing plans and goals and wishes to support our own need for personal growth and just overall growth around the community.
I love that. That's really good. Listen, many people are traveling to New Orleans. I wish I could go. Some of my best friends, they're headed to New Orleans this weekend. I think they're going to hang out with you. My best friend, Ivy, she'll be down there hanging out with you.
Oh, yes. I'm looking forward to seeing Ivy.
What are some things we should do, and what are some places that we must go when we're down in New Orleans?
Well, let's see. Well, first, I hope you're flying in. So definitely when you get to the airport, check out the great restaurants and shops there, either on your way in or on your way out. And then the convention center is going to have a lot of great panels. That's where the empowerment experience is, hosted by Essence. It's free to get in, and there's all kinds of different vendors and speaker series. It's really, really amazing. A lot of people think about Essence as the nighttime concerts, which are great, but people tend to forget that this is an event that's all about female empowerment, Black woman empowerment. And so there's a lot of different showcases and, panels and things like that to really highlight the work that Black women are doing and give, great learning opportunities as well. In terms of food, restaurants, let's see. Chapter 4 is a great restaurant down in New Orleans with it's a Black-owned restaurant. It is.
Look, I'm going to write it down. Like, this is not my show.
Write it down.
I can't go back and look at it.
The best gumbo. They have great gumbo. It's my favorite. And if you ask anybody from New Orleans where they get gumbo, the first they'll say is my mama's house or my grandmother's house.
They always say that.
The best restaurant is really made at home. But if you want some really good home-cooked gumbo, then you got to go to Chapter 4. Chapter 4, Little Dizzy's is another Black-owned restaurant with great food, great gumbo. Moro's restaurant is another good one. Neo's is also very popular. All Black-owned restaurants. We like to support the Black-owned businesses during Essence.
I love that. Thank you for that. Listen, we've got a new segment of Phil and Friends. It's called the Lightning Round. Let me get my phone with glasses.
Let me get ready. Let me stretch.
We've got 10 questions. I think it's 10. We got 10 questions for you. Just answer it off the top of your head. You should know these answers first. Three of them are going to be questions, and the rest of them are going to be just pick one of them, okay?
Okay.
Let's go. All right. What is the name of the first fine dining African-American restaurant in the country?
Dookie Chase.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
What is the name of the circular pastry with white icing and decorated in gold and green and purple, which is associated with Mardi Gras celebrations in New Orleans?
King cake.
Yes. What is the genre of hip hop that includes a call and response motifs and is represented by stars like Big Frida?
You already know. Bounce music. Bounce music. Yes.
All right. Between gumbo or crawfish etouffee?
Crawfish etouffee.
Jambalaya or red beans and rice?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Red beans and rice.
Grambling or Southern?
Southern. I like the Southern Jags.
Okay. Essence Fest Mardi Gras?
Mardi Gras.
Okay. Terrence Blanchard or Wynton Marsalis?
Ooh. How are you going to make me
I
pick a hard one?
I don't want to put you on the spot.
I have to go with Wynton Marsalis.
Okay. All right. LaToya Cantrell dancing or LaToya Cantrell singing?
LaToya Cantrell dancing.
All right, good. Good job. That's the lightning round. You're the first person to do that on my show. So thank you.
Oh, wow.
Some confetti and stuff like that. Listen, you have given us so many great things and tools and tips. And I appreciate you coming on air. I really do. Give us some final thoughts to our audience today.
Well, thank you, Phil, for having me. It's been a pleasure getting to know you over this last year, and I'm looking forward to, many more years of friendship. And when you come down to Mardi Gras, then I'll definitely show you a good time. I think that, I guess my final thoughts are just for women, especially. I know we talked a lot about women empowerment. Just keep pushing, stay passionate about our people and community and giving back in whatever way that you can. Small sacrifices, small acts of kindness, they really tend to go a long way, whether it's in your career or just doing day-to-day work in your life. So wish everybody the best, and thank you again for having me.
Thank you so much. Hold tight for me in the green room, okay?
Okay, thanks.
I want to thank my guest, Erin Burns, for coming on air. Listen, if you're going to New Orleans this weekend, next week, or anytime for the few years, stop by the New Orleans airport and reach out and get you some good food and have a good time. And remember to love yourself, be yourself, and help somebody else like Erin is doing. You're listening to Phil and Friends right here on WHCR 90.3 FM, the voice of Harlem. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.